what do you think about Kirk Cousins going to the Vikings? And if you don't see him going to the Vikings, where do you see him landing?
I don't see him going to the Vikings. I would love to see him come to the Vikings because I think he has less question marks than any of the three options that we have right now have. I'm concerned mightily about this for the Vikings with their whole quarterback situation because I think, at their best, at their healthiest, at their best, any three of these quarterbacks that we have right now can be just about as good as we saw this year. But it's the question mark around Case Keenum is, was he a Pat Shurmur byproduct? Are we going to see that with a different offensive coordinator? Or does he have to go to the Giants and play with Shurmur in order to be successful again? With Bradford, we saw how good he was last year. He's one of the most efficient passers in the NFL when healthy. When healthy, can he stay on the field? With Teddy, the question mark is,
are we getting
the same thing we had 2 years ago, or 3 years ago now? However long.
2 years ago is when he tore his ACL, but he looked really good before then. Granted, it was training camp / preseason, but he looked like he felt really confident.
Exactly, and we didn't see enough of Teddy at all this year to know. But what we did see was the interception. Not necessarily saying that interception is going to mean that he is necessarily going to be a bust.
I think it's forward. A bit overplayed, but considering it's the only tape we have on him, it has a right to be
discouraging. But yeah, either way, so like I said, all three of these quarterbacks have question marks around him. No, granted, so does Kirk Cousins. And a lot of people don't like Kirk Cousins because of what he did this year. Washington wasn't successful, but you have to take into account their offensive injuries. I think they had 6 offensive linemen only this year, healthy for the entirety of their offensive line was in shambles. Their running back situation is bleak.
Now, I would like to see Kirk Cousins play in Minnesota too, because I do think I think what you're saying with the offense around him is really good, and it will, I wonder how much of this is just us being Vikings fans, because every time we've gotten a new quarterback put in, we're like, oh, this is the best system they've ever been around. This is, but it'd be true with Kirk Cousins. It'd be one of the best, maybe not the best, but he'd definitely have a very competent supporting cast around him, and who we pick as offensive coordinator is going to be huge for whoever we decide at quarterback. But and I would like Kirk Cousins because he has, he's done good. But I got a couple things against Cousins to Minnesota. One is the money. He wants $30 million a year.
That's big.
For 5 to 6 years. And there's more than one quarterback-hungry team. If you're the Vikings, do you say, all right, we don't care. We want we want a franchise quarterback, and Kirk Cousins could be our franchise quarterback. So we're going to sign him. But Anthony Barr, Daniil Hunter, you guys better not be expecting extensions. So you've seen it plague teams like the Ravens, where they signed Joe Flacco, but looks like we got to let him go, and him go, and him go, and then bam, their team goes from above average Super Bowl to meh.
Flacco hasn't had a 4,000-yard passing season since.
And he's only won one playoff game since. He's only been to the playoffs once since that Super Bowl year. So, I mean, yeah, it's tough. I'd be all for signing Cousins if his contract didn't handicap the way this team is built. And Rick Spielman has built a very good team and very smart. We have cap room, but we don't have a huge amount of cap room to sign big free agents. But the Vikings never go out and sign big free agents. We'll sign free agents, but we're not going to go out and throw $20 million a year at someone unless they've earned it, or unless they've already been doing it for us and they're still in the prime of their career, like a Harrison Smith, like Xavier Rhodes, who have proved they're one of the best in the league. I think Kirk Cousins is worth $25 million. I think $30 million is kind of expecting him with a better supporting cast to elevate his game. But I think overall, the Vikings would be better off just playing it safe in terms of quarterback and saying, you know what, we know Case, we know Sam, we know Teddy, we know what these guys bring us. And we know that they'll be a lot cheaper than that. So why don't we do that so we can keep our core defensive players, and as long as our defense is good, we can have our offense, our offense around Teddy or Case or Sam would still be good enough. We're gonna get I guess, would you call Cousins a B plus quarterback? I think that's about his ceiling right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's top 5.
Yeah, I think that the risk outweighs the reward for Cousins because, with Cousins, we have seen him be pretty good. But like you said, this year, it was discouraging. Other than that, we don't want to have to go out and spend the money just to get a quarterback that might only be a half a step up from, Teddy or Case or Sam Bradford.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be much more expensive to get, get Kirk Cousins in here than it would be to get or to keep one of the 3 quarterbacks that we have already.